The Supreme Court has just issued a unanimous ruling on suppressors, and the implications are seismic for gun owners across the country. This is not just another legal opinion or a minor adjustment to existing regulations. This is a landmark decision that will change how suppressors are treated under federal law, and it comes in the wake of a surprising DOJ flip that has left many in the gun community both shocked and uncertain about the future. If you own a firearm or are even casually interested in gun rights, this is something you need to understand in full because it directly affects your legal rights and your ability to exercise them safely. For decades, suppressors have existed in a somewhat gray area in American gun law. While legal to own under the National Firearms Act with the proper paperwork, they have always been subject to strict regulation and intense scrutiny from federal agencies. The DOJ's sudden shift in position, followed by the Supreme Court's unanimous endorsement of the new interpretation, signals a dramatic realignment in how suppressors will be regulated going forward. This ruling doesn't just clarify the law, it reshapes the legal landscape entirely. The consequences are immediate, and the potential ripple effects extend to every firearm owner, every state, and even future legislation. At the center of this case is the interpretation of the suppressor provisions within the National Firearms Act, a law that has been in place for nearly a century. The DOJ, historically conservative in its approach, had long maintained strict enforcement policies and resisted challenges to its interpretation. But the surprising flip in their position before the Supreme Court hearings essentially opened the door for a new precedent, which the court embraced unanimously. This combination of executive branch flexibility and judicial affirmation has created a rare moment in gun law history, a moment where policy, precedent, and practice converge in a way that fundamentally shifts rights across the nation. For gun owners, the practical implications are profound. Anyone who has previously hesitated to invest in a suppressor due to fear of legal complications now has a much clearer understanding of their rights. Pending applications, past purchases, and ongoing restrictions may all be impacted. Furthermore, the ruling provides a new legal foundation for challenging overly restrictive state or local regulations that were previously justified by narrow interpretations of federal law. In essence, the Supreme Court has set a new baseline, a nationwide standard that could invalidate certain state-level restrictions or enforcement practices that were previously considered acceptable. This is not a small change, it is transformative. The court's unanimous decision also sends a strong signal about the judiciary's perspective on Second Amendment rights in the context of suppressors. While suppressors are often associated with hunting or recreational shooting, they also serve an important function in hearing protection and public safety. By endorsing a more permissive framework, the Supreme Court implicitly recognizes these benefits and prioritizes them within the constitutional context. This is a nuanced but critical point. It's not just about expanding rights arbitrarily. It's about aligning legal interpretation with practical, historical, and safety considerations that affect millions of Americans. One of the most striking elements of this ruling is the clarity with which it addresses prior ambiguities. For years, gun owners, legal experts, and advocacy groups have debated the boundaries of lawful suppressor possession. Conflicting guidance from federal agencies and inconsistent enforcement in different states created uncertainty and, for some, fear of inadvertent violations. The Supreme Court's decision removes much of this ambiguity by providing a clear, enforceable standard that all federal and state authorities must follow. This is a rare instance in which the highest court has intervened to settle a long-standing regulatory dispute, and it highlights the importance of vigilance and engagement in legal matters that affect your rights. In the aftermath of the ruling, attention now turns to how states will respond. Some states have preemptively restrictive laws that go beyond federal requirements, and these may be ripe for challenge. Legal experts predict a wave of litigation in the coming months as gun rights groups and individual owners test the limits of the ruling and seek to expand its application. This could lead to additional clarifications from courts, creating a dynamic and evolving legal environment for suppressor ownership. Understanding these developments is crucial for any gun owner who wants to remain compliant while exercising their rights fully. The Supreme Court's rationale in the decision is also notable for its emphasis on historical precedent and practical purpose. The opinion details the long-standing tradition of firearm accessories, including suppressors, in American legal and cultural history. By grounding its decision in both history and practicality, the court establishes a compelling framework for interpreting Second Amendment protections in a way that is both principled and applicable to modern realities. This methodology may influence other areas of gun law, potentially affecting future cases related to magazines, pistols, or other accessories that have historically faced regulatory challenges. Another key takeaway from the ruling is its potential impact on law enforcement practices. Agencies that previously relied on strict interpretation of suppressor regulations will need to revise policies, retrain personnel, and possibly adjust enforcement priorities. This could lead to a broader reassessment of how firearms laws are applied at the local level, promoting consistency and clarity while reducing the risk of inadvertent violations by lawful owners. For gun owners, this means a reduced risk of confusion, fines, or other legal consequences simply for following the law in good faith. The ruling also highlights the critical role of advocacy and engagement in shaping legal outcomes. The DOJ's unexpected position flip underscores the importance of legal arguments, lobbying, and public pressure in influencing policy and interpretation. Gun owners and advocacy groups who invest time and resources in understanding the law, submitting amicus briefs, or participating in the legal process can have a real impact on outcomes that affect millions. This is a reminder that rights are not static. They are shaped continuously through participation, challenge, and vigilance. From a practical standpoint, the decision immediately affects the process of acquiring and using suppressors. Applications that were previously delayed or denied may now be reconsidered, and ongoing restrictions may be subject to new legal challenges. Training requirements, background checks, and registration processes may need adjustment to align with the court's interpretation, and responsible owners should stay informed about these changes to ensure compliance. This is a moment for education, preparation, and proactive engagement with both legal and community resources. It's also important to recognize the broader cultural and political implications. Suppressors have often been a focal point in the debate over gun rights, safety, and regulation. By issuing a unanimous ruling in favor of broader access, the Supreme Court is sending a signal about the balance between individual rights and government control. This may influence public perception, legislative priorities, and even upcoming elections, as policymakers and citizens react to the ramifications of the decision. Understanding these dynamics can help gun owners navigate not just legal, but also social and political landscapes that affect their rights. In addition, the ruling has implications for future technology and innovation in firearms accessories. With a clearer legal framework for suppressors, manufacturers may feel more confident in developing new products, leading to safer, more effective options for responsible gun owners. This could include innovations in noise reduction, portability, and overall safety features. The court's decision provides a foundation for progress, showing that legal clarity can foster responsible innovation rather than stifle it. For educators, instructors, and trainers, the ruling also offers an opportunity to update courses and materials to reflect the new legal landscape. Training programs can now confidently teach legal ownership, safe handling, and proper use of suppressors without fear of contradicting ambiguous regulations. This is a win not just for owners, but for anyone involved in promoting safe, informed, and responsible firearm use. In the long term, this could enhance community safety while reinforcing lawful rights. Gun owners should also be aware of potential challenges. While the Supreme Court's decision is clear, it does not automatically override all state restrictions. Some states may continue to test the boundaries of their own regulations, and legal challenges are expected. Staying informed, consulting legal experts, and understanding both federal and state nuances remain critical. This ruling is a milestone, but it is also a starting point for ongoing engagement and vigilance. Rights are protected not just by the courts, but by active, informed citizens who understand their responsibilities as well as their entitlements. Finally, it's worth reflecting on the broader significance of the ruling. A unanimous decision from the Supreme Court represents consensus at the highest level of the judiciary. It's rare, It's historic, and it carries weight that will resonate for decades. For gun owners, this is a moment to celebrate, but also a moment to educate themselves fully, understand the implications, and participate in shaping the responsible exercise of their rights. The DOJ flip, the court's reasoning, and the nationwide impact combined to make this one of the most important decisions in modern gun law history. In conclusion, the Supreme Court's unanimous suppressor ruling following the DOJ's position change is a game-changer for American gun owners. It clarifies long-standing ambiguities, reinforces Second Amendment rights, impacts law enforcement practices, encourages responsible innovation, and sets a legal precedent that will influence future cases for years to come. Gun owners should stay informed, understand both federal and state implications, and participate actively in discussions, training, and advocacy. This decision is historic, transformative, and a call to action for every responsible firearm owner who values their rights and the rule of law.